Orientation and mobility developed from the need to reorient blinded servicemen in the aftermath of World War II. The techniques which were taught to blind travelers in the late 1940s and even into the mid-1950s assumed that they had at one time possessed sight and all the visual concepts and vocabulary that went along with it. In the mid-50s and early 60s, cane instruction gradually found its way into schools for the blind, where many students, blind from birth, required not only different kinds of techniques, but a different kind of instruction. Crossing an intersection was far more difficult to teach to a child who had been born blind than a wounded soldier who had driven a car for several years before being blinded and who could draw upon memories of visual concepts. Orientation and mobility instructors gradually taught the skills of the long white cane to even younger blind children, and later on instruction was given to the deaf-blind, the multiply handicapped blind, the developmentally delayed blind, and blind students and clients with varying degrees of retardation. When a developmentally delayed blind man encounters the cane for the first time in his mid-30s and learns sufficient skill to enable him to achieve a far greater measure of independence, of choice and control over his environment, imagine the possibilities of beginning to teach the cane logically when a young blind child was in the sensory motor period and learning to feel and touch the environment.
The tip closer to the wall. Good, that's fine. Without it getting caught.
When do we start teaching mobility techniques, and what kind of techniques do we teach? It really depends on each individual child. For some, as soon as they can hold a cane. The piece of twine here was used during 2 lessons, just to show the area that the cane would touch. As for the techniques themselves at this age, it's a matter of having the child develop the strength to hold the cane out there and extending the range of his reach, like a long index finger, feeling and testing the ground ahead, exploring textures and features, learning about the world, and learning to move through it safely.
Good boy. Thank you, sir. Mention the DOOR. And if you can, take that tip and touch that pipe. Ah, good. Pipe? Good boy. All right. Find the building. Can you find the building? It's coming. Touch it with a cane. There it is. Now you touch it with your hand. What you doing? Huh? Can we go out in the backyard? That's good. Oh.
You're just going for a little walk. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We're just going to be in Nancy's house and out the backyard and on this side.
We'll be right around here.
Right back, okay?
There may be a few tears, too, for those first journeys. Mama's there. Sometimes she wipes away a tear or two and watches her child set out on his first journeys through the neighborhood.
Mom and Dad in Martinian. Say, our house. Right. Okay, come down and I'll put you up by your window. You want to put your hand in your window?
The world can be a fragmented place, all tangled up in fleeting sensations. A mobility teacher can begin connecting it together so the child's environment makes sense. There's an inside and an outside to a building, a going out and a returning. The earliest journeys are away from mom and return, away from home and return. Find his teacher and move out on his own.
Say okay. I'll be in a minute. Here we go. Say, I'm coming for you.
From building blocks to city blocks, learning comes in little steps. Each step building a firm foundation of concept and technique, mastery and control. Along with the exploration comes the skills of remembering the return route, finding your way back home.
Hold that rail. Good. Watch that flower box. Okay. Goodbye. You drop the keys. Can you pick it up? Okay. Now, I don't want you to pull it with that string. You just hold your hand still with the string on it.
That's what it's doing.
All right. Good.
That's why I'm doing it too wide, huh?
Right. Too wide to the right. Which is your right? There, good, all right. Keep that
Perfect cane arc, perfect technique. That will be a long time in coming. Here, the string controls the width of her cane arc. Just 2 days, and she had a much clearer idea of the area the cane should cover.
Back and forth, please. Blacktop, dirt, blacktop, dirt, blacktop, dirt, blacktop, dirt, blacktop, dirt. Can you say it?
Dirt, blacktop,
No. Blacktop, dirt.
dirt, blacktop, dirt, blacktop, blacktop, dirt, blacktop.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now I want you to turn towards me, and I want you to jump all the way up to me, okay? Keep coming. Jump, 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 jump. Keep jumping. Good. Come towards me. Where am I at? Where am I at? Good. Keep coming. Move those feet. Keep coming till you touch me. Okay.
Right now, the movement of the cane and the sensory skills we're developing are the child's links to a growing familiarity and control over the environment. There are things to name and to touch and to smell. So much to learn in the neighborhood, in the park down the block, outside of the 4 walls of the classroom. The cane leads the way. The technique evolves in a unique way with each individual child. Sometimes the mobility teacher puts a hand on the cane to direct the child to an object or to show how the cane should move. But that control passes very quickly back to the child. Early versions of the touch and slide technique, learning to interpret the cues from the cane as it contacts walls, edges, and other features, learning the sensitivity to turns, lines, and directions. What's on your cane? I want you to point forward, straight ahead. Learning laterality, sidedness, the sense of left and right, comes more easily to some children, harder to others. There's a world of ways to teach relative direction at each age, and children learn through play. A lot of play involves both language and the freedom of choice of using words, concepts, and movement. Children sometimes remember best when they create the games, when it's their curiosity for exploration and their discovery. This is your cane side. This is your right side, okay? This is, I'm on your right. Okay? I'm on your right side now. Okay? Now, I want you to stand up, go straight ahead, and find the chair over here.
On the right side.
I'm in the middle, sit in the middle. Focus to play again.
It's very good to see you. On the right side, this side is good. It's very, very good. Okay. You sit down again. Listen. It's me on the right side. It's very good. Good you on the right side. On the right hand. Okay. Meet me on the left side. It's very good to see you on the left side. One more time.
Playgrounds and parks afford wonderful opportunities for teaching orientation and mobility skills. Teaching mobility is a license for creativity, spontaneity, and fun. For decades, it was believed that mobility should be taught without the cane for those long years while the child learns conceptual skills, pre-mobility. That's too long, and it's too late. We can teach those skills once considered pre-mobility, like using the arms to protect the body during movement, as part of a total mobility program. Protective techniques, sensory training, and work and technique are part of a mutually reinforcing whole.
What is it? What is it?
The rumbles and bops and bangs, the clicks and the clanging the cane makes, and the countless features of the environment are a fascinating source of amusement, motivation, and learning for children. The cane has its songs to sing on 1,000 sidewalks, while the cane tip moves and the child's fingers develop that subtle sense of touch with the ground. Control of the movement of the cane and learning to translate the sensations it transmits is a long process. It has to start earlier. A child learns so much in those early years.
Stay on the sidewalk. Okay.
The subtle slants and curves, the slight grades sighted people take for granted, are concepts a blind child develops over years of exposure and repetition. The cane is moving in different ways, developing the skills of touching and sliding, probing, sensing, and confirming a fascinating and increasingly comfortable environment.
And we can feel the gutter and the street where the cars go.
We learn about the people on our routes. We've made a lot of friends. We use purposeful destinations whenever we can. Mobility is a link between people and places and events that have real meaning for the child.
Okay, here's the telephone. Here it is. Here it is. There it is. That's the telephone.
Hi.
Hello, Sheila. How are you doing? It's me, the bunny rabbit. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Are you doing okay?
fine.
That's good.
Thank you.
Are you working with Mr. Bill today?
Huh?
Are you working with Mr. Bill today? Did you sing Na 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 with your bus driver, Etta?
Huh?
Okay. Say bye-bye, bunny.
Bye-bye, Bunny.
Okay. Okay.
Bye, Bun.
Okay.
Bye, honey, Bunny.
Bye, honey. Let's do it to it. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Wait, too far. There's a bumpy bump over here. Wait, right here. Right here. There's some bumpity bumps. Right, up, the other side, right, there. Bumpity bumps. Bumpity bumps. Okay. Now, the tunnel. We're going to play a trumpet in the tunnel today. Where's the tunnel? Where's the tunnel? Where's the tunnel? Okay, you ready?
The feeling of a braille marker echoes in a tile hallway. The child, her language concepts and spatial memories, The sensory skills of touch and hearing, and the cane techniques, each are interrelated to enable her to contact her environment in a safe and appropriate way.
Come over here for a second, Bill. Come over here. Wait. Okay. Now, we're going to do something a little different today.
We're out there, rain or shine. Sometimes it's cold and wet, slippery, splashy. There's something to be learned in every season, and it's not just the words we're learning. She has to be out there, outside the walls of a classroom. Feel it. She has to experience and really learn what the environment is all about. At this stage, too, her first attempts at the back and forth movement of the cane greatly expand the area she can touch and sense and explore. She can learn to interpret the texture, the bumps, the incredible variation that exists in the combination of natural and man-made portions of her environment. And the time does come where the child's techniques are gradually molded as closely as practical to the standard cane techniques. The touch technique, the slide, that workable combination of the light sliding touch, so useful for efficient travel. But the child's capabilities and needs come first. The standard techniques evolved because they were safe, efficient means to travel and sense the environment. We get as close as possible, but we fit the technique to the traveler. We teach a workable technique that suits the needs of each individual, a technique that affords them the greatest amount of coverage and safety within their own unique range of skills.
Looking good. Nice light touch. Nice light touch. Nice light touch. Okay.
We teach the skills of sighted guide right along with cane instruction. For a child, the sighted guide technique might be more efficient by teaching them to hold the guide's wrist as it hangs down in a vertical position. The elbow might be awful high for a 3 or 4-year-old. There are logical places and times to teach both sighted guide and forearm protective techniques for those times in those areas where they don't use the cane much.
Okay, cane in front of you.
The labels we give a child, a student, a client, belie the fact that they can often learn an astonishing degree of orientation and mobility skill. Even later in life, not everyone will achieve a total independence. There are many blind and low-vision people who could learn to achieve a far greater range of independence. Sometimes they won't learn a wide range of techniques. Here a modification of the diagonal technique, which moves out from the resting position to find curves and edges, has been surprisingly useful in getting him from the sheltered workshop setting out into the neighborhood and local shops. Mobility is a time for choice and for expressing as great a sense of freedom as he is capable. We can't always control the environment. Kind of hard to maintain your line of direction when the sensory cues are so overwhelming. Mobility is a long-term commitment to the traveler to present to him a wide enough array of opportunities, a range of different situations, to enable him to use the techniques under constantly changing conditions.
Okay, there's the door. Now where are we going? Where are we going to get at the store? Coffee, all right? You lead the way. Here we go.
At the end of a lesson, there's a time to make another choice, and for him to enjoy what he's chosen, a time to share something with his teacher. Mobility is more than just the cane tip moving back and forth. The cane is just the shadow of the tip of the iceberg. Mobility, the purposeful movement through the environment, isn't confined to just teaching cane skills. Those who are blind and low vision, multiply handicapped, sometimes with what may be considered very challenging disabilities, need mobility and have a right to it to achieve as great a measure of independence as they are capable. By moving just one finger on his control lever, fitted by his mobility teacher with a much larger handle, he has access to the world.
This way.
Where's Pete?
To get the right fit of technique might just require a slight adaptation of something that hasn't worked so far to finally get it to click. Here, the mobility teacher has fitted a much larger T-shaped handle onto the control lever. And now the student can contact it at any point with any part of his hand and make it control his chair. And now the long hours of learning to achieve control and the accuracy required to navigate through areas we take for granted, but which present formidable barriers to him. Something as simple as wrapping bright orange tape around the edges of a barrier can mark it out so he can use his low vision to see it effectively and travel through it. Something as simple as a slight touch of neatly defined, bright fluorescent paint on a pole or a curb might be the key and the gateway to getting out of the confines of one environment and to gain entrance into a much larger world.
You're in there.
Wheelchair mobility is a long-term opportunity to learn to deal with the dangers that occur on typical routes, and learn the subtle skills of navigating the chair over a wide variety of features. Sidewalks with their uneven blocks of concrete, with the occasional broken and buckled pavement, with cars parked across them, and fraught with myriad obstacles, from overhanging shrubbery to children playing tag, do not always guarantee an unobstructed passage. The street is wider and affords more visibility, and provides an easier passage for the chair at speeds that tend to cut down on veering tendencies. But sidewalk skills are critical for junctures and access to features on the route. Wheelchairs operate in that ambiguous area between being a pedestrian and a vehicle, and the wheelchair traveler has to learn elements of both.
All right, straight ahead.
His new chair is faster. He's going to be able to cover some real ground, go to a store, a donut shop a couple of miles from home. There has to be some way to keep up with him, letting him go faster and learn to cut down on his veer, to teach him while he's on the go and monitor the use of his senses, to call his attention to traffic and to enable him to make the most effective use of his residual vision. There's the capability now for immediate feedback on the part of the mobility instructor to enable him to operate his chair safely and challenge him to develop far greater control and travel capability. Orientation and mobility, it isn't confined to just the cane.
Straight ahead. Go, go, go. Yeah, yeah. Okay, a little more. Let's see. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. This side here. Yeah, good, okay.
The response to a student's need varies tremendously. An effective educational response to the combined needs of the disability and the visual handicap can change the disability into capability. Visually ambiguous areas of curbs and ramps can be emphasized by bright colors, where blue, frequently used for wheelchair access markings, might not be visible to a low-vision student. A vivid fluorescent color might not only show up under the bright glare of a summer's day, but show through on wet pavement as well. There may be a need for intermediary markers halfway across the street to enable the student to use residual vision to keep an effective line of direction toward the next crossing. It might be something this simple, combined with work on auditory and low vision training at the corner to learn to deal with traffic safely. Mobility requires a dynamic use of residual vision, combined with sensory integration, to determine moving objects.
Well, we're at the boat. You don't want to crumble any flowers.
Nice carpet.
Learning to use residual vision in a purposeful way in a challenging manner is far different than the use of vision in a classroom. Mobility serves to enable a student to function purposefully in environments of their own choosing, Relative direction and movement concepts in a wheelchair aren't that much different from pedestrian training, but some thought has to be given to where the vehicle will be moving, how to overcome obstacles and barriers, and how to pick out meaningful markers and landmarks in that environment. Safe and purposeful control of the vehicle is part of the mobility training, here combined with a sense of relative direction. Again, too, there is a need for a constant, ongoing assessment of just what the student sees in his visual field, and calling attention to the scanning patterns which may be necessary to compensate for field restrictions. Some students may show a surprising use of their vision, but the mobility teacher must constantly be aware that there may be severe limitations of the student's visual field that will require a great deal of intervention and training to make the student's use of his low vision effective for safe travel.
Don't run over the tail. Don't kill the bears. Okay. Now go. Ah! You broke his leg. Okay. Now go grab your cane. Go grab your cane from the middle one. Okay. Just grab your cane. Pick it up. Grab it. Grab it. Okay. Now come around here. You can feel this thing is too big to go up. It goes kabonk. Kabonk. Now, that's going to kabonk and kill you. This doesn't go kabonk. It goes tink, tink, tink. Now on this side, you have a big...
Here, the cane is being used as a probe to check a curb to see if the scooter can move safely across it. Glare and shadow and their low position make curbs, driveways, and ramps dangerous obstacles that threaten to tip the scooter. The cane might serve as a valuable temporary tool to move safely across these features.
Yeah, make a turn. Make a turn. Make a K-turn.
When a student doesn't walk for the first time until he's a teenager, when just learning to walk takes the work of a number of therapists, a span of several years, mobility must change pace to fit the needs of the student. There may be the need for more patience now, a need to understand that each has his path, and the journeys for each student will differ. At the end of his journey, too, there will be a time to share with his teacher. He's chosen cream soda today. He will have traveled the entire block today, and he will have earned it.
Come on up and do an Eskimo kiss, okay?
What mobility is determined by the needs of the student and the interaction of the teacher, the child, and the parent. It may be a close interrelationship with parent and physical therapist. It may have started, as with this student, on all fours for 2 years, crawling from the bedroom to the bathroom, down the hallway to the kitchen to feed Wally the cat. Mobility was the route from mom's lap to teacher and return, gaining strength and thousands of little victories over the paralysis of her right side, supporting herself when she crawled and getting up one more time than she fell. It was mobility when she stood up, holding onto the couch in the living room, and cruised to an arm's length of the front door, and crawling across that threshold onto the porch and the driveway and the promise of access to the entire world beyond her door. Mobility was really Mom believing that her little girl would walk someday, in spite of professionals telling her that it would never be possible. It was a partnership of belief and hope and years of work on the part of Mom and therapists to strengthen muscles that had more promise than actual strength. Mobility was not only teaching the concepts of movement and travel, but teaching the very words and signs used to express them. Mobility was a partnership that had a changing part to play as the child developed her strength and skills and followed her own curiosity into the world. Whether the technique is to position a blind child's hand to enable her to learn to crawl, to steady a leg as she begins to walk, or to position a cane more effectively to provide more protection from obstacles, the techniques develop in response to the unique needs and capabilities of each student. And if it hasn't been done this way before, if the techniques aren't in the book, then we'll revise the book.
So it's almost like a trick, you know, if you lighten up the touch.
In the IEP, the Individual Educational Plan, orientation and mobility finds its place within the whole of the educational program. where we set out our goals and the techniques we'll use to accomplish them. The advantages and disadvantages of certain approaches and concepts are discussed here with the classroom teacher, the therapists, specialty teachers, and the parents. This is one of the times when the specialist teachers can come together with the parents to enjoin their individual experiences, to pool their knowledge, and in partnership with the parents, to review and revise, to take what has been successful of the old and to look at it in new ways. Together in a community of mutually empowering respect, support, and trust, to scan the widening horizon of the future, to determine new directions and ways to get there.
And we went up to the, I guess, Hilltop Mall. Well, it's just smooth and some.
Just as the children, the students, the older clients touch the pavement with their canes, their walkers, crutches, scooters, wheelchairs of every size and description, within the infinity of possibilities, the mobility teacher must touch the individual person. That is the core of mobility, for each to express as great a measure of independence as possible. And that lies beyond technique. That's the area of praxis, the human component, people skills, the common sense and practical fit of the right version of the right technique to meet each individual blind person's needs. Possibly no other area of teaching requires more ingenuity, draws upon more creativity, more spontaneity, demands more responsibility, and needs more caring. For the mobility teacher, there's a deep belief and commitment to each person we teach that we can and we will find the way to enable them to express their freedom.